All right, so thank you for tuning in to Chomping at the Bit. I'm Kyle Edwards, of course. Now, this episode, we're going to talk about conference championships Sunday in the NFL. As you know, we down to the Final Four. So we got two in the AFC with the Bengals, Chiefs, two in the NFC with the 49ers and the Rams. So, throughout this episode, we'll be breaking down the matchups, giving you what to look for when each team has the ball, as well as when each team's on defense, pointing out key players to look out for. Then by the end of each breakdown, give you my pick for the winner, as well as the spread, who I think we'll cover. And then with that, we'll sit back, because I'm doing this a little bit before kickoff of the first game, so hopefully you're listening to this before, but I'll sit back, watch the two games, and then come Sunday night, we will know who will be in the Super Bowl, which is just 2 weeks away. Then, of course, I feel like I have to address this before talk about, the games on the field. The biggest story of the weekend so far is what exactly is going to happen with Tom Brady, with the whole report from Adam Schefter and a few other, people that sources are saying that Brady's going to retire, but now Brady's saying, Brady's dad is saying that he hasn't made a decision. It's a whole mess or whatever. So, because of that, if Brady does decide to retire, because I know he's going to speak on Monday with Jim Gray on his Sirius show, maybe that's when he's going to make the announcement. I don't know, but whenever he does, then we'll do an episode about Brady and probably tie Big Ben into it, as well as he retired as well. Well, I say as well as if Brady is actually going to retire, but So, just want to say that real quick, you would think that with a decision like retiring, until we hear from Brady himself, can't really run with anything. And I understand, Schefter and them have a job to do, but they could have waited. So that was just my quick thoughts on that, but let's go ahead and take a look on the field. Start off with the AFC matchup, Bengals, Chiefs. Bengals are the, Cinderella team of the Final Four if you look at it. Well, I guess I won't say that. They're definitely the Cinderella team of the AFC. Bengals, they did win the AFC North, but looking at the division winners, they were probably the least likely to be in this position. But it's been a good ride because we've seen the maturity and maybe the gelling together of the core of Joe Burrow, the three-headed passing attack with Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins. We've seen a defense that's been, opportunistic. They've been a good complementary unit to the offensive group. And at this point, you can't really doubt their chances in this matchup. I know it's going to be tough because Kansas City's been there, done that. They're experienced in these situations. Because, it was cool with the Bengals winning. Was it against the Raiders? First playoff game together. That's one thing. Last week, a little more was needed to beat a Tennessee team. Tennessee helped them with the 3 interceptions from Tannehill, but Cincinnati still had to capitalize on those to get the win. But now we're talking AFC Championship in Arrowhead, or whatever Kansas City calls their stadium now. I can't keep up with all the names, but just because I remember it as Arrowhead, I'm going to refer to it as Arrowhead. And we know that crowd is very loud. Usually weather plays a part. I believe last I heard it was like in the 50s out there, or high 40s. That's great for this time of year. So the Bengals will be coming into this matchup. First time in this situation that can both work for them, work against them, of course. Because they don't understand the pressure of the situation, maybe they go into this matchup free and loose and they play their game. The opposite is they get into this, kickoff happens, the crowd's loud, and then it hits them that they're in the AFC Championship and maybe they tighten up. So that's going to be something we're out to see from the Bengals in this one. Because like I said, the Chiefs have been there, done that. So I'm expecting the Chiefs to just, take care of their own business in this one. So once again, I usually start with the road team, so do that again. So with the aforementioned Bengals, when they are on offense, the key is going to be keeping Joe Burrow clean. We know that Kansas City has Steve Spagnuolo as their defensive coordinator, which means from his days with the Giants, we understand his defensive game plan, which is he likes to get pressure, on quarterbacks, which most defensive coordinators like to do, but Spagnuolo is one of those who seems to be able to do that better than a lot of other coordinators in the league. Now, we've also seen where that aggressiveness from Kansas City's defense at times, forces them to jump off sides, key moments, or, little stupid penalties, we'll call it. But the only reason why I hesitate to call them stupid because they're trying to be aggressive, which I understand. But sometimes it happens at the wrong time. So if Burrow can maybe, switch up their counts, hard count, try to draw them off sides a couple of times to maybe slow them up half a step, then maybe that could pay dividends in the passing game where just that little extra moment, Burrow gets the time needed to push the ball downfield. And as a side note to that, I would like to see Joe Mixon become a little bit more of an integral part in the offensive game plan. Because through the playoffs, he's been somewhat quiet. And I know, sure, if you've seen the Bengals play, that Joe Mixon is a really talented running back. So I would like to see Cincinnati use him a little bit, at least early on, to kind of, get their feet. Trying to see how to say this, but almost like, trying to get accustomed to the atmosphere, calm their nerves a little bit. So start off a little bit conservatively, hand the ball to Mixon, and try to ease their way into the game. Defensively, so when the Chiefs are the Chiefs' defense is on the field, I think the key for them is going to be their secondary, because the game against Buffalo, which we saw, go back and forth in the second half, a lot of the issues happened once Tyrann Mathieu was out of the game, and they were leaving wide open seams for wide receivers to find, holes in the zone or whatever and be wide open. Now, that's not a defense they're going to want to employ against the Bengals because, like I said, you got Chase, Higgins, and Boyd who can kill you, and if you pay too much attention to those three, you have Zoma, hope I'm saying that right, the tight end, who's a weapon as well. So we'll have to see if the Bengals passing game or the Chiefs coverage, which unit comes out on top in this matchup, because that might go a long way to tell you who will win this game. So now on the flip side, when the Chiefs have the ball, the key is going to be, like I said, for them, being here, was this like their third trip in the last, is this their third straight trip? Maybe. But they've been here, so for them it's just pretty much stick to their game plan and minimize turnovers, because with a group as new to this experience as the Bengals are, the quickest way for them to gain confidence is to get turnovers, short field, that kind of thing. So the Chiefs take care of the ball. Don't press too much and trying to make the great, 1-2 yard drive. If the Bengals allow you to, go ahead, go for your 10, 12 play drives, score, just do your thing. Don't try to press it to, try to, give a knockout punch in the first round. See where it's going and then, react accordingly. Bengals on defense. I would say it's got to be to try to get Mahomes off his spot. Because some teams find the conundrum when facing Kansas City of, do you just come out and just blitz Mahomes and leave yourself open to the quick passing game and then trying to chase Tyreek Hill all over the field, or Kelsey or Hardman and those guys? Or some teams kind of sit back hoping that they can, cover everybody and then force Mahomes to try to, fit throws into tight windows. I think, as we've seen, the best way to go about playing the Chiefs is mixing it up. So that's what I'm saying. Like, keep Mahomes, move him off his spot. Show one defense, get out of it, play man, play zone, 4-man pressure up front, bring an extra blitzer, zone blitz, corner blitz, whatever. Do what you have to do to keep him guessing. Now, with all that being said, and as I said, Kansas City, this is, charted territory for them. Whereas for Cincinnati, they're going to figure it out as they go. Zach Taylor, really young at this coaching thing. So we'll see, how well he can adjust with his game plan as well as his other coaches. But, if it starts to get away from him, will he be composed enough to make the necessary changes needed to try to get the team back into it? If Cincinnati starts off really well, will Taylor make the mistake and maybe go too conservative too early? These are decisions that happen mid-game that Andy Reid has seen, so we'll be more equipped to handle it. So the line is set at Kansas City is the favorite, -7. I'm expecting this game to look a lot like the Buffalo-Kansas City game from last week, which if it comes anywhere close to that, like 75-80%, this will be an absolute great game. I like the development that we're seeing with the Bengals here. This is good experience for them. I think the Chiefs are going to be riding a nice, confident wave coming out of that Buffalo game. Especially getting Tyrann Mathieu back, that's going to make the defense feel even better about themselves. So I think I'm going to go with Kansas City to win the game. And I'll go with Kansas City to cover slightly. I'm looking at maybe 34-26 Kansas City. So like I said, giving Kansas City to win and to cover. All right, so now take a look at the NFC side, which is the second game of the day. 6:30 out in LA. Get the Battle of California. I guess this is the Battle of the Bay Area. Got the Niners and the Rams. For the Niners, they are the Cinderella team of the NFC. Much like the Bengals, they weren't expected to be in this position. Only thing is that the 49ers are here as a wild card team, whereas the Bengals were a division winner. So Niners being the last wild card team left, going up against a Rams team that won the NFC West. This matchup is interesting. Now, I mean, the Niners, like I said, knocked off the Cowboys when a lot of people didn't think they could. Backed that up with beating Rodgers and the Packers when people didn't think that they were going to. So now they're going into their third straight week, facing a team that on paper seemingly is better than them. But, of course, you got to play the games to see how it plays out. 49ers are battle tested. They have great players on their side as well. Out the Rams, first time seeing Matt Stafford with a sustained playoff run. He's looked pretty good so far. But we know that all it takes is one game for him to throw a couple of interceptions. Then the perception of him changes to, is he the right quarterback for this team? Because I said, thinking like last week, the Rams went all in for this year. The Goff trade for Stafford, acquiring Odell Beckham, getting Von Miller. Well, Von Miller, to pair up with Donald, who's been there, Ramsey, who they got a couple of years ago. They didn't put all this together to, take small steps. They want to win it all this year, and they have a good chance to do that. All they got to do is get past San Francisco. You make the Super Bowl, anything can happen then. So, once again, start with the 49ers. So, when the 49ers have the ball, key for them, Deebo Samuel. I mean, he's the most important player for them because you can line him up outside, slot, backfield. You go wildcat with him. You do what you want. Now, I know he was a little bit, nicked up last week, but, he's fully expected to play. Yeah, I don't see him on the injury report, so nothing to worry about there. So, so Deebo Samuel. Line him up all over the place. Give the Rams something different to look at. Garoppolo has to limit, his, turnovers and, questionable decision making at times. Garoppolo's been pretty good throughout this run, but the Cowboys, he had the pick that gave them a chance back in the game. Against Green Bay, he was pretty much iffy all first half. Played great late. I think against the Rams, Garoppolo's going to have to play. I wouldn't say he has to be, outstanding all game, but he needs to be pretty good throughout the game to give the Niners a chance. Defensively, for the Rams, it's got to be... one, I want to see what they do with Jalen Ramsey. Is Jalen Ramsey going to be shadowing Deebo Samuel? Does he go out on Brandon Ayuk? What happens there? But I think it's the front seven with the Rams. Aaron Donald, Von Miller. Von Miller has looked... Okay, so when they first acquired Von Miller, I kind of wondered what he would do for this team. And he's been great. I got to give it to him. So this is a game where 49ers are going to make sure. I mean, they'll know where Aaron Donald is. He's right on the line. That's the first thing that the offensive line is going to look for. Second thing would be to point out where Von Miller is, because we know Von Miller likes to get to the quarterback. He can also play side to side. So you run toss sweep or something, or running back, or like Sonny Michel gets blocked up in the middle, tries to bounce it outside. There's a good chance they'll run into Von Miller out there. So I think that's going to be key for the Niners to control those two and then make plays when they're there. Flip side, Rams have the ball. I believe I've said this for each game with them, but it's got to be Stafford. Can he continue playing well or, regress to the Detroit Stafford? Not saying he was bad in Detroit, but, he was never put in this position. So I guess that's probably a bad way of saying resort to Detroit Stafford. But will he play like a guy who, as a veteran in the NFL, will he play like a guy who's just because he hasn't been in this situation doesn't mean he can't handle the pressure of the moment, stay composed, make the throws that we know he can make. We know he has a great arm because we saw that last week on that deep throw down the middle to Cooper Kupp. Keep making plays like that, and the Rams will be fine today. If he's erratic, maybe a little bit too hyped up, then we could see some, maybe like a slow start. And depending on how the Niners do with the ball, if the Niners get out early, 10 points or so early on, we'll have to see how does Stafford react to that. Because, of course, if the Rams just get the ball, score early, score quickly, consecutive drives like that, and they take a healthy lead, it'll be easy for them. I want to see if there's those tough pressure moments. How will Stafford do? 49ers on defense. I guess it has to be Nick Bosa. Yeah, I think I'll go with Nick Bosa. He's their main guy in terms of getting pressure on the opposing quarterback. He's at least the biggest name that on the defensive front. So this is going to be one of those moments where he needs to make himself known. Not necessarily with sacks, but quarterback hits, pressures, maybe deflect a ball or two at the line. Something like that. Bosa's a name that we're going to need to hear throughout the game, at least periodically. He may even have to be a factor in a big turnover, whether it's, forcing a fumble from Stafford, hitting from the back side, knocking the ball out of his arm, or getting a hit on him so Stafford can't step up in the pocket and they get a turnover off of that. I think Bosa's going to have to be a part of a play like that to give the Niners a chance in this one. So with that, let's take a look at the line here. Let's see. So the Rams are the favorite by 3.5. As I learned from the regular season, that half point can get you. I like the 49ers because I like Deebo Samuel. I think Garoppolo's making an interesting case for San Francisco because if the Niners were to win today and get to the Super Bowl, what happens to the 49ers offseason plans? Because Trey Lance has been sitting there for, 3 years now? At some point, you got to give him the opportunity to show what he can do. But then how do you move on from a guy who's taken you, at this point, the NFC Championship game, possibly to the Super Bowl? So that's an interesting dynamic for the offseason. But for now, this is interesting. Because Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay as coaches, I got to say I put them in the same boat because they both have had experience at this point. Shanahan, with the Falcons when he went to the Super Bowl, we all know what happened there. Falcons fans, I understand. We know what happened. But still experience to draw back on. McVay, he's experienced taking the Rams to a Super Bowl, oddly enough, against the Patriots. So both of them have felt the celebration in terms of getting to the Super Bowl, but then it felt defeat and losing it. So both of them are itching to get back. This one's tough. So, okay. So I think I'm going to go with the Rams to win. Because I think the Rams have more overall weapons. But I got a weird feeling that the Niners find a way to cover. So this could be like a 28-25 type game, maybe. I don't know, this was weird because I could see the Rams having. I can see the Rams playing really well and making it a blowout almost. No, I can't go with that. I trust the Niners too much to let that happen. Because the Niners seem to just find a way. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Niners to cover. Rams to win. I'll go 30-27. Yeah, I'm sticking with that. That's what I'm sticking with. So if my picks do come true, that means we'd be looking at Rams, Chiefs in 2 weeks. I mean, that we'll see. But if that does happen, it'll be an interesting game to talk about. So, let me know what you think. Do you agree with my picks? Like I said, Chiefs, Rams, who I have Chiefs covering as well, but the Niners covering NFC Championship game. So let me know if you agree with those picks. You can give me your picks as well. Let me know who you think will be in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. And yeah. Also, like I said, when I just talked about Tom Brady real quick, let me know if you think he'll actually retire or not. You can let me know that as well. So quickly, looking ahead, like I said, talk about Brady if he does actually retire. I'll talk about Brady and Big Ben. Yeah, give big respect to Big Ben, who also retired. If Brady doesn't retire, I'll probably still talk about Brady, but then talk about Big Ben retiring. Talk about the coaching carousel as well, because we're seeing some jobs be filled, some rumors of people going places. So look at that, see what the open jobs that are out there, and see who's interviewing for what. So we'll talk that. Also talk about. I think I want to talk about NBA All-Star voting, because we know who the All-Star teams will be. So yes, I'll do an episode on that as well. So that's just to give you an outlook for the next couple episodes coming down the line. But plenty of more will come after that. So definitely make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at Chompin' Podcast. And leave a review, comment, whatever underneath the video as well. Or underneath the episode. Let me know what you think, what you'd like to see me improve on, and what you don't like, what you do like, all that. It's all helpful. So be safe out there. God bless. And I'll catch you next episode. All right? I'm out.